Good morning, everyone. Buenos días, amigos. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Carla Colin. I'm the president of the Latino Chamber, and we are starting in a couple minutes with this webinar. I just want to let our interpreter help us give instructions to our presenters and anyone talking about how to make it a little easier for her to do interpretation for us. So Mayra, if you want to help us with that, that would be great. Thank you.
No problem. I will be saying this in Spanish. Estaré diciendo esto en español en un momento. So this webinar will be interpreted simultaneously into Spanish and vice versa. If you are not bilingual, please try to find the globe icon at the bottom part of your screen. This is to enable interpretation. That way you can listen in English or in Spanish, whatever is your preference during this webinar. If you are connecting through a device, you might find that interpretation icon or selection in the 3-dot menu bar. So just go ahead and look for that. And just a reminder to panelists to please speak slower than usual, especially if you are reading so that the interpretation is accurate. Muy buenos días, mi nombre es Mayra, soy la intérprete asignada para este webinario. Si usted no es una persona bilingüe, le recomiendo utilizar la herramienta de interpretación para escuchar este webinario en español. Puede encontrar esta herramienta en la parte inferior de su pantalla buscando el icono de globo terráqueo o en el menú de los 3 puntos. Ahí usted podrá encontrar la interpretación, elegir el idioma español para escuchar este webinario completamente en ese idioma. Y recordar a los panelistas, por favor, hablar de manera más pausada para que podamos realizar nuestro trabajo de manera adecuada. Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you so much, Mayra. And then I'm gonna enable the interpretation now. Perfect. So again, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. My name is Carla Colin. I am the president of the Latino Chamber of Commerce. And we also have Laura Malpica here. She is our business support coordinator. She's going to be helping us with recording the Spanish channel of this webinar. And she's going to help us with tech support. I want to say, please submit your questions through our chat here in Zoom, or do it through the comments on Facebook. We are live streaming on Facebook, and please share this video and this webinar with people that might be interested on learning about this information. And I want to welcome our friends from Michael's Energy. Thank you so much for being here. We've been doing a great partnership for the past few months, and I am really hopeful to keep doing it for the future because they have amazing programs in partnership with City and County of Denver that we are going to learn about today. And before we start with that information, I want to ask our presenters to introduce themselves, let us know who they are, what they do, and how they can help the community with these specific programs. So Tierney, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah, thanks, Carla. My name is Tierney Kilgariff. I am an engineer with Michael's Energy, and my main role in this position is helping review and approve electrification feasibility reports, which is something I'll be explaining more throughout the presentation. But I'm really excited to be here with you today.
Thank you so much. And I'm gonna pass it to Dave now.
Hi, my name is Dave Reeder, and I'm the account manager for the Climate Action Office through Michael's Energy. I help support the contractors, building owners to understand the program better and to help get through any questions they may have. Tierney will be doing the presentation, so I want to give credit to her. I'm going to go ahead and take myself off, and it's I really appreciate you inviting us to come today, so thank you.
Thank you so much, Dave. And thank you to everyone who is joining us right now. I know we are getting some views on Facebook as well. So just want to encourage everyone to tell us where you're connecting from, where are you listening from? And if you have an organization or a business that you represent, feel free to put it in the chat or the comments on Facebook. And I'm going to start sharing my screen so Trini can can start with the presentation, but please feel free to ask any questions, raise your hand, and we'll be happy to do that, to do those questions. But if you want to wait until the end to hear all of the information, we are going to be having a Q&A session to make sure that you're able to share your questions or your opinions on these great programs. So I hope you can see my screen now with the presentation. There we go.
All right. Good morning, everyone. I wanted to start out by saying I'm honored to be presenting this webinar today, and I wanted to extend my gratitude to Carla and everyone here for organizing today and providing our team with the opportunity to present the electrification program with our Latino community. As an engineer, I'm very proud that this program is not just about electricity, it's also about equity, and it's our program's duty and privilege to share this information about the recent opportunities within the electrification space with our Latino community, which is an integral part of society. So, without further ado, let's dive in. Carla, are you able to advance my slide? Thank you. All right, so here is the agenda for today. We'll cover who we are, what the building electrification program is, several of the rebate opportunities available, as well as eligibility for those. Next, I'll just do a little introduction of who we are. We have Sam and Robert, who are with the City and County of Denver's Office of Climate Action and Sustainability and Resiliency, which is also known as CASR. Then we have our lovely Daniela Alexander, who will also be helping with interpretation towards the end during the Q&A section. And then myself, Tierney Kilgariff. I'm one of the engineers with Michaels Energy. All right, so let's dive into our Denver Building Electrification Program. One of the first things I like to start out with when I talk about this program is just getting us on the same page of what I mean when I say electrification. It's a term that gets used quite a lot, so it starts to lose its meaning. But when I say electrification, I'm talking about the shift from using electricity rather than burning fossil fuels like oil, gas, and coal, specifically for space and water heating. So one of the most relevant pieces of technology when it comes to electrification for heating and cooling buildings are called heat pumps. And they're called that because they actually pump or move heat around rather than creating it. And they're actually better or more efficient at moving heat around than furnaces are at creating heat. And this translates to using less energy, 2 to 3 times less energy. And in many cases, despite gas prices being cheaper than electricity rates, because heat pumps are more efficient, they can be a better economic value in the long run. And this can be true even in cold climates like Denver. But we need a way to be able to forecast how much energy a building is going to use and when it's going to use it and how much that's going to cost in order to actually compare the feasibility of electrification. And that brings us to my next slide, which is all about what we call electrification feasibility reports, or EFRs. So this is an integral part of our program, the EFR, and it's a tool that my team designed to help compare the feasibility of installing a new piece of electrification equipment rather than a like-for-like gas system. So it compiles all of the costs associated with buying, installing, and running different pieces of equipment to give a building owner the opportunity to really compare the feasibility of all options available. And right now, the EFR is also being used as a pathway for permitting, but I want to emphasize that it's really a decision-making tool to help give all the information available for the building owner to make an informed decision about electrification. And I do want to emphasize that the results of an EFR can help determine whether electrification is cost effective, but there's no stipulation right now that requires a building owner to electrify. It's simply a tool designed to help make that decision. All right. So with that, I want to dive into some of the cooler initiatives we have right now that you can take advantage of to help cover the costs associated with electrification. So this slide gives an overview of each rebate being offered, and I'll dive into the specifics in the next few slides. But the 3 rebates right now are the EFR rebate, equipment rebate, and the contractor bonus. So we'll dive into those now. All right, so for the EFR rebate program, I want to start off by just mentioning eligibility. This rebate program is specifically for commercial and multifamily buildings. Residential buildings have a separate program for funding options. All right, so the process for the EFR rebate program, Carla, do you mind going to the next slide? Thank you. All right, so the process starts with a building owner submitting an application. And while doing that, they select a contractor who has completed the EFR training. Once they're approved, an EFR gets submitted per piece of equipment. And then this is where I come in. As the engineer, I am involved in reviewing and approving the EFR, making sure that all the information is accurate so that the results of the EFR are as informational as possible for the building owner. And this EFR rebate program covers up to $2,500 per EFR. So that that's meant to kind of cover the cost a contractor of the time a contractor might have to do in order to gather all of the information that's required in the EFR. And I do want to mention that this is per 3 types of equipment per building per calendar year is kind of the limit we have going on right now for the EFR rebate. But it's a really great way to kind of cover that hurdle of just gathering the extra information that's required in the EFR. And that gets paid to the contractor. All right, the next the next step in the process after you've submitted an EFR is actually being able to install that equipment. So the next rebate we offer is called the equipment rebate program. And again, I want to start out with covering the background of who's eligible. So this has, again, it's for multifamily and commercial buildings, and this does not apply to new construction. It's all for existing buildings. All right, the next slide is going to be a lot of words, but really what this comes down to is that we have a lot of rebates available for different pieces of equipment. And I want to mention that as a piece of equipment gets larger, it costs more money. So we've also scaled our rebates with the capacity of most of our equipment. So for example, as a heat pump's cooling capacity gets larger, we offer for a small or dual fuel electric rooftop unit $3,000 per cooling tonnage. So as the tons go up, so do the rebates. There's also rebates available for ducted split source heat pumps, ductless mini split heat pump water heaters, The list goes on and on. And the next slide, we have variable refrigerant flow heat pumps. Sorry, Carla, do you mind moving forward? Yes. Variable refrigerant flow heat pumps, package terminal heat pumps, single package vertical heat pumps. And I do want to mention that the rebates that we offer are designed to align with Excel's rebates as well, the utility. And then there's one more slide that covers the last bit of.
And I'm sorry to interrupt you a little bit. I just want to clarify, and this is something that if you guys didn't see, or if our audience didn't see our interview with you guys a few days ago, probably last week or 2 weeks ago, we talked about these rebates, and it was amazing to know and to learn that you can stack them with the Excel Energy rebates that you're talking about. So it doesn't mean that if you qualify for, I don't know, the $3,000 or for or $1,000 doesn't mean that you cannot qualify for other programs, specifically the Excel Energy one that also helps. So you might end up paying a lot less than you can imagine for a heat pump or whatever equipment you're acquiring. And I also want to remind something that we talked about during our interview. You don't have to be the owner of the building to have access to this program. You can talk to the landlord, or you can talk to the owner of the building and connect them with either the Latino Chamber or Michael's Energy, and we'll guide them through the process. We'll make sure that we make that connection. We'll refer them to the right people, and then they're gonna be able to learn about the rebates and the opportunities to better serve you as a tenant. Because if you're paying rent, if you are in a building for I don't know how many years, and your heater doesn't work really well, or it's too hot in the summer, the landlords might not know about these programs. So they need to learn it from you, that you're listening to this presentation. That way they can access the program. But you don't have to be the owner. You can recommend this program to your landlord and then connect them with us, and we'll be more than happy to guide them through the process.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that up, Carla. That is absolutely correct. And thank you also, that reminded me, for this program, there is a pre-application. So we want to make sure that you are pre-approved. And also for each and every piece of equipment, there are stipulations for the specifications of the equipment. So before installing anything, please get pre-approved. Before purchasing anything, please make sure you're in communication with Michael's Energy, because we want to make sure that you're going to get the rebate that you deserve.
Yeah, definitely. And it might sound like a lot of information we are throwing, or Trinity throwing a lot of information to you right now, but they're here for that. They're here to guide you through the process. They have experts that speak Spanish and can help you through the whole process of this program. So it might sound a little too complicated, but it's really not when you align to all of the steps that they're gonna guide you through. So don't purchase any equipment, like Trini said. Wait until you see if you qualify, and from there you can start working on that. And in a little bit, we're gonna be talking about the contractors that can be part of this program as well. But I just wanna make sure that you understand that this is a program where you need to start from scratch with them. You cannot come back to them asking for a rebate if you purchased the equipment 6 months ago and you install it. Like it doesn't work like that. So just make sure that you come to City and County of Denver and Michael's Energy for guidance on all of these process.
Yes, absolutely. My goal is to electrify as much as possible. So I want to be working with people to make sure it's done in a way that's feasible. All right. Okay, let's move on to just the overview of this rebate program. Again, it's for existing commercial and multifamily buildings. Pre-approval is required. Pre-approval is required. And then these rebates, there is a cap right now at $100,000 per standard building. I am going to discuss another type of building we have a designation for called equity priority buildings, and those are eligible for above that cap. So we'll get into that in a little bit, but just for sake of clarity, an overview of that program is once the equipment is approved, an invoice is sent with the invoice with the equipment spec sheets, and then the final inspection, and then our program administrators send out the equipment rebate approval letter as well as the rebate check. All right. Next, we'll talk about what I just mentioned earlier, the equity priority buildings. And this is a initiative to help get electrification needed in groups of people that might not otherwise be included in this type of programming. So we have a lot of different ways that you might qualify for your building being an equity priority building. I don't want to spend too much time reading from the slide, but if you have 2/3 of the tenants deed restricted, 2/3 have rents at or below 80% of the rent limits, household income at or below 80% of Denver area's median income, 2/3 enrolled in a public assistance program, a 501c3 organization, or a building whose operating revenue falls below that $800,000 mark. And that's something where you would need pre-approval for. So if you think your building might qualify, that's definitely something our program administrators can help walk you through that process. And I do want to remind folks that these rebates are only available until the funds run out. So there is incentive to do that in the near future. And like I mentioned earlier, these do stack with Excel rebates, and they also stack with the IRA tax incentives, which we're not tax experts, so that's something you want to discuss with your tax advisor for.
Trini, we also have a comment in the chat from Robert. And Robert, thank you so much for sharing that. These incentives may also be state and federal, may also qualify for state and federal incentives, which is exactly what Trini is mentioning right now. And they can be stacked to offset the first cost. So that's great. That's good to know. And I like that nonprofit organizations also qualify for these incentives in the Denver city and county. So it's amazing to see all the benefits that you can have from, starting to see if you qualify for this program.
Yeah, thanks, Robert, for mentioning that. There are a lot of funds out there, and our program there's no, we're not excluding anything. We want people to be able to stack as much as possible. All right, so the next thing, and this is probably the most exciting thing I wanted to mention for this webinar today, is our new contractor bonus. So one of the reasons I wanted to mention this and really highlight it is because it's available for a limited time. So this contractor bonus is equal to the standard equipment rebate amount of the equipment installed. It's also capped at $100,000 per company. But it's a way to try to further incentivize that contractors are installing the electric equipment that they suggest in the EFR. So one of the stipulations for this specific program is that the equipment must be installed between May of this year and February of this coming year. So there is kind of a ticking clock on that one. And it's available for the equipment within that electrification rebate program that I mentioned earlier. It is, however, not available for heat pumps installed with the home energy rebate. That is a separate rebate. So that's the one that's not stackable. All right, so another thing I wanted to mention for contractors specifically is the portal here, which helps with training contractors on being able to complete these electrification feasibility reports. We do have a training that a contractor needs to pass in order to be able to submit these reports. So I believe these slides will be sent out after the webinar ends, and you can click that link to access the portal. And there's also FAQs online as well.
Definitely. Attorney, I want to remind everyone who signed up to be at this webinar and maybe couldn't make it through the whole thing. Maybe they came at the beginning, but they cannot stay until the end. We are going to be sending the recording. We are going to be uploading it to our YouTube channel. We are having a live stream on Facebook right now. And we don't delete these videos from our communication channels ever. So whenever you need to come back to this video, we are more than happy for you to look for it. We have the Latino Chamber YouTube channel where you can see all of the videos of the resources that we have offered throughout the existence of the Latino Chamber, and we want to make sure that you can have access to this one as well. And we are going to send a follow-up email with the recording and also the presentation and the contact information if you have any questions, who to contact, how to get a hold of the Michaels Energy team and all the questions that you may have. And also, obviously, we're in a few minutes, we are going to end the presentation, but we are going to stay here for a Q&A section. So you're going to be able to ask your questions in the language that you prefer, and we'll be more than happy to help you and answer those questions if they're in English or Spanish. So feel free to stay a little longer and ask those questions through the chat. Or when we go to the Q&A section, you'll be fine opening your camera and your mic to ask those questions. So thank you so much for staying if you want to ask more questions.
Yes, absolutely. And actually, the next slide includes all of the contact information for reaching out. If you aren't online with us today, we highly encourage it makes us happy to answer questions and to make sure this process is as clear as possible. So these are the links for accessing more information. This email, the DenverElectrification at michaelsenergy.com. That's where all of our amazing staff read and answer emails for. And then below that is just a list of our team members, but we can move on now. Oh, I think you went to the previous slide. There we go. Awesome. So yeah, now I'm happy to wrap up and answer any questions for people live in the webinar today. Also, I'm going to be relying on Dave for more programmatic questions and Robert as well.
Dave, do you have anything else to add? I know when we talk during the interview, we were talking about how the funds are there. We just want people to come and get them, to take advantage of these programs. So I don't know, Dave, if you can tell us anything or any experience that you've had working with this program and how amazing it is to be able to access these funds that a lot of people don't know about.
And I believe you said Dave, correct?
Yes, you
I know
did.
how to
Yes,
jump
I
in.
did.
Yeah, the city has set up this program based on residents voting for a tax to actually increase awareness about the environment and how to improve reducing emissions, so emissions reductions. The programs, there's more support than you can imagine. So the City of Denver Climate Action Office actually hired Michaels Energy. We are an engineering company, so our engineers are there to support your contractors through every step. My role is to help assist those contractors with any questions they may have. The quiz and the training, it's a half a dozen videos and the quiz is very short. It's designed just to make sure you grasp the information, but if you don't, that's what I'm here to assist with. From there, once it gets more technical and those contractors need assistance with maybe some designs or different pieces of equipment, that's where Tierney and the rest of that team comes in. So the programs are fantastic to get equipment electrified, to save on electricity, to help on cost, 200 to 300% improvement with the heat pump efficiency, all the way to rebates with the city, the stacking that Robert and Tierney mentioned, with XL Energy, which I assist with as well, to the federal IRAs. So we will hold your hand through the entire process to make sure your home or your building is as efficient as possible, and then leave it to us to get you through that end step. I will reiterate again, please wait for that approval. Approval, move forward. Approval, move forward. Meaning the contractor will know this, that's working on your project, but we're happy to assist any way possible.
Thank you so much, Dave. And before I go to the comments in the chat box, I want to make sure that people understand that right now we are talking about this program being in city and county of Denver, but don't get discouraged because other municipalities and other counties also have programs. And if they don't have something like specific to what Michael's Energy has right now with Denver, the Excel Energy program is not limited to city and county of Denver. It is a statewide program. And like Robert mentioned earlier, there are state and federal programs that you can qualify for. So if you are outside the Denver area, the Denver city and county areas, please reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to help you find the right program, and make sure that if you have any connections with those cities, you let them know that we need programs like this in every city of the state, because it's so important for everyone to access. And the other thing that I wanted to clarify, Anthony and Dave, maybe you can help me with these. The contractors that get certified to serve these during this program don't need to be located in Denver, correct?
That is correct. They do have to work in Denver, or they would not want to go through this training unless it was just for learning. But the city does require that contractors that wish to do work in the city and county of Denver go through this training and pass the 10-question quiz. Again, there's about 270 contractors on the list today. It's growing every week. That just lets the city know that you understand the process, and then we guide you through that as well as a contractor.
Thank you, Dave. And yeah, I want to invite all of our friends at the Latino Chamber that are contractors and that do this type of work. Please sign up to be a contractor with the city, because right now it is this program, but you don't know if more programs are going to come up, and at least you're on the list already. So if you're a contractor and you want to work with city and county of Denver, this is a great way to start and work with a great program that is helping the community. And I also want to mention, we have a lot of contractors that live or have their business in Boulder County. We have members in the Northern Colorado area, Fort Collins, Greeley. If you're willing to travel to Denver, which is not a super bad drive if you're going to have a contract and you're going to get incentives as well, I will 100% recommend you to do that. And if you have any questions or you need to connect directly with someone at Michael's Energy, please reach out to the Latino Chamber. We are here for that. We are here to help you start the process, get certified, and then be on the list of the contractors that the city and county of Denver recognize as partners to do this program. So definitely think about that. And then I also want to check the chat, and I have a pretty interesting comment from Cornelio. And I don't know, Cornelio, if you want to open your mic and tell us about your comment of willing to help other contractors navigate this process.
Yeah, so my name's Cornelio Martinez. I own Maze Mechanical, and I've already had a couple of projects. One of them is being completed right now as we speak. through the Denver CASR office, and I work with Robert and Michael's Energy already. So I understand the process fairly well. And part of my commitment to this new year is to help other contractors figure it out, especially those in the Hispanic community, just to give back a little bit to where I'm from. So please feel free to reach out to me or have anyone that's looking for a contractor's perspective, have them reach out to me as well.
Cornelio, that's amazing. Thank you so much. We always need kind people like you that are willing to teach others and that are not gatekeepers of the work that you can do with the cities and the municipalities. Can you give us a little bit of perspective as a contractor on how it has worked for you? Do you really get the incentive? Tell us all about it.
So we are currently doing a project that was a $1.3 million incentive. We haven't been paid out on it yet, but we're submitted the final paperwork on Monday to get paid for the first phase. So I'm confident that everything should go smoothly in that regard. And our goal is to take the lessons learned from doing that big project and helping others navigate the process, because there is some, I wouldn't say small obstacles and things that you should prepare for when you're trying to do a bigger project, but the smaller projects are fairly easy. And I do have support of an engineering firm, so we can get the specs correct and submit that to Michael's Energy. And basically, I have a support system for every aspect of this, so we can utilize all that. And I absolutely would not gatekeep any of it. I don't want anything out of it other than, of course, the recognition, which is important. But other than that, it's just help the contractors figure it out, turn it over to them. And if they want to utilize my resources in any other capacity other than just advice, they're welcome to do so. But otherwise, growing my network is my goal. I believe in full transparency, growing my network of contacts and contractor friends and stuff like that. That's what I want out of this.
Definitely. There is enough jobs and enough work for everyone. So thank you so much, Cornelio, for sharing. I want to really show my gratitude and respect for you, because not everyone does that. So thank you so much for sharing that. And if you're listening to this and you're a contractor and you are still hesitant of qualifying or not, or looking into this option, please feel free to contact us, and we can put you in contact with Cornelio via email. We got his email, so we got your email, Cornelio. We're going to be emailing you soon. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing your experience and also being willing to help the Latino community get more informed in regards of contracting with City and County of Denver. So thank you so much. And Robert, I want to go with you on this a little bit, because I definitely understand that the contractors need to be licensed in Denver. So can you give us a little bit of insight on this part, please?
Yeah, just the contractor, if they're going to do work in Denver, they would need to have a mechanical contractor's license. Cornelio can probably tell you more about that. I don't do the licensing portion of it, but that is one requirement, that to have a contractor work with you and to get your equipment rebate, whether that's going directly to the building owner or it would be going, they would assign to the contractor, that contractor must be licensed in the city of and county of Denver. I don't know, Corn, if you want to throw any more info out there. I know you've gone through that process.
Yeah, so the process to get licensed in Denver isn't all that difficult if you have the experience, but it does take time. So anybody who's not licensed in Denver but has a reciprocal license, they should be able to apply and get approved within a couple of weeks. Like especially if you're licensed in Aurora or Longmont, which has pretty stringent licensing criteria, it is pretty easy. I did run into a minor hiccup in that because I didn't have the right Denver license, but they turned it around within 3 days and got me the proper license. So it can be frustrating at times, but if you know what documents you need and stuff like that, it's just a matter of submitting them, getting them reviewed, and if you've done the work and have the experience, you will get licensed in Denver, and it should be easy enough to go from there. But like I said, just reach out to me. I'm willing to help anybody navigate that process as well.
Yeah, it is definitely worth, if you as a contractor if the contractors are not licensed in the cities that are giving these opportunities, it's 100% worth looking into it. and getting licensed and certified in any program. Because like I said, this is one of many programs that I'm sure that are coming for these type of work. So feel free to let us know if you need guidance on that. We also have technical assistance. Laura just put her information in the chat. She is our business support coordinator, and she is here to help you and direct you to the right resources and connect you with the right people, including Michael's Energy, to guide you through the process of either getting your license or getting into this program if you're already licensed. So please feel free to reach out to us. We are here to help anyone in the community. You don't have to leave or be in the Boulder County area. We are here to help everyone. We are statewide serving institutions, so we are more than happy to support everyone. And you also don't have to identify as Latino. If you have the desire to work for the city or the desire to get licensed or anything that you need for your business, your small and medium business, we're here to help you. We don't deny services to those that are not members, that are outside the geographic area of Boulder County, or that don't identify as Latino. So we are here to help the community in general. So Cherny and Dave, I don't know, is there anything else that you would like to add? I think this was pretty clear and a lot of information, so a lot of our audience needs to process all of this, and I'm pretty sure that we're gonna start getting calls and people are gonna reach out to you. But anything else that you would like to add? Oh, Cornelio, you can, yeah, definitely.
Hey, just real quick, I also wanted to state to anybody, any contractors on the call, I'm a small business owner. I'm not a huge firm. It's just me and my four family members that we're a family business, and it is scary. And I think I probably took most of the stress for all of us. So now I figured it out for us. So just please do reach out to me and I'll help you navigate it. From a small business perspective, it is completely doable.
Thank you so much, Cornelio. Thank you for sharing that, because yeah, it can be scary going through this process if we haven't done it before. So definitely, thank you so much. Robert wants to add a comment. Oh, Robert, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I did want to give a couple of comments. One is that, please understand the scope of the funding that's coming into the state. City and County of Denver is kind of has been a leader in this, rebate beneficial electrification in buildings. But Excel just announced their clean heat plan, which was approved by the PUC, and that's like $447 million. And I think that, and that's just one part of what they have. So there's that. There was just this recent award from the EPA to our community, and this is for the Front Range, what's called the DRCOG, or Denver Regional Council of Governments. That was 200 million. And again, CASR has a certain amount of money that we're putting forward for this annually. And so, if you look at the scope of this is almost $1 billion that's going to be spent over the next 4 years. So there's real opportunity to help with this initiative to reduce carbon emissions in the built environment. So that's one thing. The other thing is I want to make sure that folks understand that if you are a nonprofit, one of the new things with the IRA incentives, and some of them can be limited, but you can get a direct pay, meaning that if you aren't paying taxes and you institute some of these applications that they'll fund, they'll just write you a check. So that's new and pretty exciting for helping to offset the cost of some of these more efficient systems. And the final thing is there is also a tremendous amount of money that's come in to fund these green initiatives or reduction in greenhouse gases. And it's a $27 billion initiative nationally, which is called the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund. And I guess in our community, CCEF is a bank that's received some of that funding, but keep those things in mind because one of the things is we'll help offset the first cost, but typically there may still be a financing gap. And so this money from the EPA is typically below market rate, or some of them are forgivable. So there's real opportunity there to help finance these projects. Thank you.
Robert, thank you. You're giving us very valuable information and for contractors to stay tuned on the upcoming opportunities. So thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you to the Michaels Energy team, Turney and Dave, for presenting. Thank you so much. We did this before with the interview, and now we went more in detail about these programs. So thank you so much, everyone. I don't know if anyone from the city or the Michaels Energy team has anything else to add before we wrap up. No? Okay. The last thing that I want to add is today we have our last event of the year for the Latino Chamber. We are going to be closed for a couple of weeks to rest and recharge for the new year. But today we have our ugly sweater posada. So everyone on this call is more than welcome to join us. Bring your ugliest holiday sweater so you can enter our contest. We have amazing, amazing prizes from our sponsors and partners in the community. So feel free to join us. It's going to be our office from 5:30 to 7:30 in Longmont. And we hope to see you here. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to reach out to the Latino Chamber team. Thank you so much and happy holidays, everyone.
Thank you so much.
And thank you so much to our interpreter.